The Decatur we know and love today is the result of over 4 decades of planning and follow-through. And by many measures, a highly rated school system, a destination downtown, a strong real estate market, that work has been successful. But success can be a double-edged sword. With limited land and a desirable quality of life, prices rise, often well beyond the reach of workforce and middle-class people.
We're both Emory professionals. We have a growing family. We're working 40 hours a week and still kind of having trouble finding a location where we can actually buy or purchase in the city of Decatur. We kind of find ourselves renting around the city, but we would love to be, here.
So I teach in City Schools of Decatur. This is my 15th year teaching in the district. I've taught at Oakhurst and now my 5th year at Renfro. I love it here, and I live where I teach. I love living in this community. I walk everywhere, and I ride my bike, but it's difficult. I've lived in several different rentals in the district. I've lived in garage apartments, I've lived in duplexes, I've lived in standalone houses, and every year it is more and more difficult to find something that's actually affordable. And that's actually my current situation right now. We've been living in a rental for about 4 years and recently found out that, once again, we have to move.
I have served the community of the city of Decatur for 11 years as an officer. 4 of those years, I was able to rent in the Oakhurst area. After renting for 4 years, my family and I decided we wanted to purchase a home. And as we looked around Decatur, it was obvious to us that we could not afford to live in the city, so we had to look elsewhere. I just believe this fact that I work and serve the community and serve this city, that it is very unfortunate that we're not able to purchase homes in the area in which we serve.
I have lived in Decatur and worked in Decatur for over 25 years. My husband and I have raised our children here. We've grown to love this neighborhood. We really want to stay right in this area. We want to have a little yard, a little dirt to play in. We want to stay close to the neighbors that we are so close to emotionally, and we're getting worried because there just don't seem to be many affordable options that suit our needs.
The residents and staff in the city of Decatur have been talking about the importance of affordable housing for over a decade. And during this time, home prices and rents have only gone steadily upward. This problem is pressing and it's not going away. That's why, in the summer of 2019, the city convened the Affordable Housing Task Force and asked us to study the problem and make recommendations about how the city can best address it. Many of these recommendations are focused on our city's neighborhoods and how to make them more economically inclusive.
Historically, traditional neighborhoods have addressed economic diversity with a variety of housing types: single-family homes, duplexes, triplexes, and quads, even granny flats and small townhomes. Decatur's been no exception and has featured many of these through the years, some of which remain. They're what's now called the missing middle, smaller scale buildings distinct from the larger multifamily projects we see downtown and near transit that are compatible with single-family homes. This is Drexel Avenue in Decatur's Lenox Place neighborhood. Walking down it, you'd likely experience it as a pleasant single-family street. But you'd be mistaken, because hidden in plain view among the homes of this quiet 4-block stretch are 40 naturally occurring missing middle housing units at varying levels of affordability. Such integration was once commonplace in Decatur, and the duplexes, triplexes, and quads we see today were all built or retrofitted in years past as a legal and encouraged solution to the housing needs of the day. But in 1988, they were outlawed in response to challenges we now find unfamiliar: disinvestment and absentee ownership. Today, our pressing need for more affordable housing exists in stark contrast to the 1980s. What was once a seemingly practical response to decline now exists as an artificial economic barrier, a new form of redlining that prevents all but the highest income households from living in Decatur's neighborhoods. This need not be our destiny or our legacy. We can choose a different path. Among the many recommendations of the Affordable Housing Task Force report are efforts to once again allow these more inclusive, missing middle housing types that were once commonplace in Decatur. With additional housing options scaled comparably to single-family homes, but configured to include smaller dwellings, we can help overcome the policies that have contributed to Decatur's loss of racial and economic diversity. We can create space, intentionally, for workforce and middle-class people currently priced out of our neighborhoods. In response to the recommendations put forth by the Affordable Housing Task Force, the city is currently at work on a proposed zoning update with the potential to make our neighborhoods the welcoming and economically diverse places we want them to be. To do so, they'll need you, your input, and your support. This is our opportunity to shape our neighborhoods according to our values, where service workers and young couples are just as welcome as those of increased means, where teachers and police officers and freelancers can share the neighborhood with lawyers and investment bankers, and where our long-term residents can downsize to more manageable and affordable space without leaving the neighborhood and the neighbors they've come to love. Let your voice be heard. Learn more, get involved, and encourage our city leadership to make this bold investment in a more inclusive future.